What happens when the quietest girl in school has the loudest impact? In a place where bullies rule and fear walks the halls, one girl chose not to fight back with fists. She fought back with purpose. This is the story of Ayanna Brooks, a girl who turned silence into strength, who rose from ridicule to revolution, and who made her high school a little braver, a little kinder, and a whole lot louder. Watch to the end, because the real power, it's never in the punch, it's in what you stand for. If you've ever felt voiceless, invisible, or underestimated, this story is for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Sometimes it means you're the storm coming. Sometimes a story doesn't begin with fireworks. It begins in silence, in the hum of cicadas, in the rustle of moss-draped trees, in the quiet footsteps of a girl who just wants to disappear into the background. That girl was Ayanna Brooks. She was 15, and she was tired of moving, tired of starting over, tired of pretending that being quiet would protect her. Savannah, Georgia was supposed to be her safe haven. New town, new school, new rules. But safety has a way of slipping through the cracks. Ayanna arrived at Brookfield High just as the first bell rang. The morning sun cut through the fog, piercing the canopy of old oak trees that lined the front lawn. Spanish moss swayed gently, as if whispering secrets she hadn't yet earned. The cracked pavement beneath her sneakers echoed with each step she took toward the entrance. She wore her armor, not steel or Kevlar, but headphones oversized, silent. No music, just insulation. Her skin glowed rich and deep like polished mahogany. Her hair, a soft halo of coils, pulled high into a puff. She wore no makeup, no flashy jewelry, just a hoodie faded from years of wear, jeans that had survived 3 cities, and eyes that, watched everything without showing anything. She kept her head down, not from fear, but from focus, from intention. She didn't want attention. She wanted peace. Most students didn't notice her slip in. Those who did, glanced once and moved on. Ayanna liked it that way. She walked the halls like a ghost, present but untouchable. Her schedule was printed on a crumpled sheet, clutched in her hand. Room 108 for homeroom, room 212 for biology. She memorized the map quickly, navigated like a soldier on a mission. What her classmates didn't know, what no one here knew, was that Ayanna wasn't just a new kid from Baton Rouge. She wasn't just the girl whose mother had been deployed. She was something else, something they wouldn't understand. Not yet. At home, back in Louisiana, Ayanna was known by another name. The Pocket Storm. That's what Coach Batiste called her. He'd trained her in Krav Maga since she was 10. She didn't do it for sport. She did it because she had to. Because one afternoon in the 9th Ward, a man had tried to drag her into his car. She'd escaped. Barely. Her mother never forgot the look in her eyes that night, so she enrolled Ayanna in classes. Not dance, not cheer combat. 5 years later, Ayanna could disarm a grown man in under a minute. But here, she was just the quiet girl in homeroom, the one who didn't talk, the one who didn't laugh, the one who kept her hands in her pockets so no one would see how steady they were, how ready. The school day passed without incident. She moved through, her classes like water, flowing around obstacles, staying unseen. At lunch, she found a spot under a crepe myrtle tree. No one joined her. She didn't mind. Better alone than surrounded by people pretending to care. She chewed her sandwich slowly, watching the other students from behind her hoodie. They didn't see her. They saw what they wanted. Another quiet kid trying not to drown. But Ayanna wasn't drowning. She was waiting, because she knew. It's never just quiet. Not in a place like this. Quiet is the breath before the storm. And storms never ask permission before they break. Trouble doesn't knock at Brookfield High. It swaggers in loud, entitled, and always looking for an easy target. Ayanna's second day started like the first. Quiet, focused, invisible. She liked it that way, until lunch. She returned to the crepe myrtle, tray in hand, hoping for just 20 minutes of peace. That's when they came. 3 of them. Leon Simmons led the charge, tall with a diamond stud in one ear and confidence oozing from every step. He was a junior but acted like the school was his playground. Deshaun trailed behind, thick-necked and always chewing gum like it owed him money. Erica was the wild card. Dark lipstick, sharper words, eyes like broken glass. Ayanna looked up, instantly alert. She kept her tray steady on her lap. UI. Too good to say hi, new girl? Leon smirked. Ayanna said nothing, just offered the smallest, tightest smile. Erica stepped forward. You mute or something? Where you from? Nowhere? Baton Rouge, Ayanna replied calmly. Baton Rouge, Deshaun mocked. What, you some kind of city? Earl? Ayanna met his eyes. No, just trying to eat. That was the moment she saw it flicker, Leon's ego. Poked. He sat down on the bench across from her like he owned it. See, here at Brookfield, he said, we got rules. He leaned in. New people show respect, pay their dues, that's how it works. $5 a day, Erica added, her tone syrupy sweet. Or your dessert, Deshaun grinned. Ayanna raised her brow. That extortion? Leon chuckled. No, baby, that's culture. Ayanna stood slowly, deliberately. She looked Leon square in the eye. You don't want this smoke, she said quietly. Leon burst out laughing. Girl, you funny, real funny. Ayanna walked away without another word, but as she left, she caught Erica whisper to Leon. She thinks she's better than us. Leon grinned. She'll learn. They always did. But this time, they were the ones about to learn. Just not the lesson they expected. That night, Ayanna sat across from her grandmother at a small kitchen table. The air smelled of cornbread and collard greens. But Ayanna's appetite was gone. Miss Pearl watched her with quiet wisdom. Something heavy's sitting on your shoulders. Baby, she said, gently stirring her tea. Ayanna hesitated. Then she told her. Not everything, just enough. The bench, the threats, the way they laughed like it was nothing. Miss Pearl didn't flinch, didn't gasp, didn't overreact. She simply nodded. Trouble don't always come with fists. Sometimes it walks in wearing a smile and asks for your lunch money. Ayanna managed a small smile. Mama always said be normal, stay quiet, blend in. Miss Pearl leaned closer. Ain't nothing normal about swallowing your pride so someone else can feel big. The words stuck. After dinner, Ayanna went to her room. She sat cross-legged on the floor. In her hands, she held a photo of her mother in uniform. Strong, unshaken, a protector. Ayanna's fingers hovered over her phone. She hesitated, then tapped. Coach. Batiste answered on the third ring. His voice was gravel wrapped in silk. Ayanna, girl, I ain't heard from you in weeks. Savannah treating you all right? She paused, then said, Not exactly. She told him about Leon, about the Brookfield way, about the way she felt her old self coiled just under the surface. You remember what I taught you? Yes, sir. What's the first rule of power? Ayanna didn't miss a beat. Real strength. Doesn't ask permission. Exactly, Coach said. But real strength also knows when to wait and when to act. Ayanna's silence was answer enough. She knew, and so did Coach. You don't gotta swing first, he said. Just don't let 'em write. Your story. The next morning, Ayanna woke before her alarm. The sky outside was still dark. She laced up her sneakers, did 50 push-ups, then shadowboxed quietly as the sun began to rise. She felt her body remember, every muscle, every breath, every move, Coach. Batiste drilled into her. She didn't want to fight, but if it came to it, she'd end it. At school, the air felt different, charged, like the silence before lightning. Leon and his crew didn't bother her that morning. They just watched, like lions circling a gazelle. But Ayanna was no prey. She stayed calm, quiet, but her eyes didn't lower. At lunch, she returned to her usual spot. This time, she wasn't alone for long. Erica walked over first. She dropped a banana on Ayanna's tray. Tribute, she said with a smirk. Ayana didn't move, didn't blink. Leon followed Deshawn too. We gave you a chance, new girl, Leon said, folding his arms. You really want to do this the hard way? Ayana's voice was soft. You think hard is 3 of you picking on someone eating lunch? Deshawn stepped forward. You got a mouth on you, maybe we fix that. Ayana stood. No rush, no fear. I made a promise to my mom, she said. No trouble. She leaned in. But if you break that promise for me, she let it hang. And for the first time, Leon didn't smile. The bell rang, students started filing in from the far side of the lawn. The moment broke, but the tension didn't. Ayana sat back down, finished her lunch, bit by bit, like she had all the time in the world because she knew, sooner or later, they'd push too far. And when they did, she wouldn't hold back. It happened on a Thursday, hot, humid, and sticky. The kind of day that clings to your skin and makes tempers rise faster than the temperature. Ayana had just finished her chemistry quiz. She was walking down the hallway toward her locker, focused, calm, until she saw it. Her locker covered in ketchup packets splattered like blood. A crude note taped on the door. Red suits you. Laughter echoed from behind her. She didn't turn around, didn't need to. Leon's laugh was unmistakable, Erica's too. A crowd gathered, some snickering, some whispering, but none stepping forward. Ayana peeled the note from her locker, crushed it in her palm, opened the door like nothing happened, wiped the ketchup with her sleeve, then walked away. But inside, something cracked, something deep and irreversible. At lunch, she didn't go to the crepe myrtle. She didn't eat. She waited because she knew. They weren't done and she needed to be ready. They didn't disappoint. Halfway through the period, Leon approached her by the vending machines. No tribute today? He asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. Ayana turned slowly. Not today, not ever. Deshawn stepped behind her. Too close, too confident. You forget the rules already? Ayana stayed still. Her heart was steady, her breathing calm. No, I just decided they don't apply to me. Erica let out a mocking laugh. Girl, you've got nerve, I'll give you that. Leon's smirk turned sharp. He knocked the water bottle from her hand. It clattered to the floor. Silence fell. Everyone was watching now. Ayana bent down, picked up the bottle, then looked up, right into Leon's eyes and said 5 words. 5 quiet, dangerous words. You're gonna regret that. Leon chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Something shifted. He felt it too. The weight, the warning. The cafeteria buzzed with whispers. By the time the bell rang, the whole school had heard. Ayana was done being silent. She spent the rest of the day thinking, not just about herself, but about all the others, the ones who had given in, paid their dues, lowered their heads, let themselves be ruled by fear. She thought about Javier, the quiet sophomore who always avoided eye contact. She thought about the freshman girl who cried in the bathroom last week. She thought about her mother and the oath she made. No trouble, unless it found her first. Well, it had. That night, she texted Coach Batiste one sentence. It's time. He replied with 3 words. Keep it clean. Ayana smiled. She wasn't looking for a fight, but if it came to her, she'd make sure it ended quickly. The next morning, she wore all black. Not to intimidate, but to focus. Her hoodie, zipped high, hair tied back, eyes calm. She moved through the halls like a shadow. At lunch, she waited, again, but this time she was ready. When Leon showed up, she stood before he could speak. After school, old gym, just you and me. Leon raised an eyebrow, then laughed. You want to fight me? Ayana nodded. 1 round. If you win, I'll bring you lunch for a month. If I win, you leave me alone. Forever. Leon blinked. The cafeteria went still. He looked around. His crew was silent. No one expected that, no one saw it coming. But Ayana? She saw everything. She always had. And now, so did they. The old gym smelled like dust and memories. No air conditioning. Just high windows cracked open, letting in slants of gold and the chirp of cicadas. Ayana arrived first. She stretched slowly, loosened her shoulders, tied her laces tight. This wasn't a show. This was for clarity, for closure for herself. The door creaked open. Leon stepped in, grinning. Confident, he wore a sleeveless tee and basketball shorts, muscles on full display. Behind him, Deshawn, Erica, and two others lingered in the doorway. Ayana pointed. "Just, you, that was the deal." Leon raised his hands. "Relax, they're just here to witness when then they stay out." Leon smirked, but he nodded. The others backed off, watching through the windows. Ayana stood in the center of the mat. Leon rolled his neck. "No rules, right?" "One rule," Ayana said. "No regrets." He lunged. Quick, strong, but not fast enough. Ayana shifted sideways, pivoted. His arms swung wide and met air. She planted her foot, dropped low, swept his leg. Leon stumbled, caught himself. "Lucky," he muttered. Round two. He came at her harder, a fist straight to her chest. Ayana ducked, twisted, slid behind him, a sharp jab to his ribs. Then she stepped away. Let him recover. Leon growled. "You hit like a dude." Ayana stayed silent, focused, measured. He charged again, wild this time, desperate. She blocked, struck, then flipped him over her hip. He hit the mat with a thud, groaned, tried to rise. She placed her foot on his chest, not hard, just enough, to remind him. She could have ended it, but didn't. He looked up, breathing heavy, chest heaving, eyes wide. What are you?" Ayana crouched beside him. A girl who kept her promise. He closed his eyes. The fight left him. So did the ego. From the window, Erica's jaw dropped. Deshawn turned away. The room went still. Ayana stood, offered. Leon her hand. He hesitated, then took it. She pulled him up, just like that. It was over. No celebration, no trash talk, just clarity. Leon nodded, a silent agreement. She left the gym without a word. That evening, Ayana walked home beneath the moss-draped trees, her hoodie pulled low, but her chin high. Miss Pearl was on the porch shelling peas. "You walk different today," she said. Ayana smiled. "Feels different." Miss Pearl nodded. "Peace has a rhythm, baby, and you just found the beat." The sun dipped. Low the cicadas sang, and Ayana finally exhaled. Monday morning arrived with whispers, not the usual kind. These were different, curious, wary, the kind that ripple through a hallway like wind through grass. Leon walked in with his backpack slung low. He didn't swagger, didn't joke. He headed straight to the cafeteria, found Ayana, and stopped. Students paused mid-bite. Teachers noticed from afar. Even the janitor leaned on his mop, watching. Leon cleared his throat. "Ayana," he said. "What I did last week," yes, he swallowed. "It was wrong. You didn't deserve that." The room froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Leon nodded. "I'm sorry." Then he turned and walked away. A single apology. Simple, direct, and seismic. Erica. Avoided eye contact the rest of the day. Deshawn kept to himself. By Wednesday, the change was visible. No more whispers behind backs. No more tributes. No more ketchup on lockers. Something had shifted. And at the center of it was Ayana. She didn't brag, didn't gloat. Instead, she found Javier, the shy sophomore who never ate in the cafeteria. She invited him to sit. He hesitated, then sat. The next day, another student joined, a girl from Kenya who'd just moved to Savannah. By Friday, Ayana's table had 7 students, all quiet, all overlooked, but not anymore. She started teaching them, not how to fight, but how to stand, how to move, with purpose, how to breathe through fear. "We don't need belts to protect ourselves," she said. "Just confidence and a little practice." She called it quiet force. Miss Pearl helped her print flyers. Coach Batiste mailed her old gear. The janitor, Mr. Rubin, opened the rec room for after-school meetups. "Brookfield needs this," he said. "Been needing it." The first week, 6 kids came, the second week, 10. By the end of the month, they were 20 strong. Girls, boys, freshmen, seniors, even one teacher. They practiced in sneakers, on, cracked mats, but they left standing taller. Rumors spread fast. Local parents called the principal, some with worry, some with pride. Mr. Howard, the school counselor, sat in on a session. Afterward, he approached Ayanna. "You've built something special," he said. She just shrugged. "I'm just trying to make sure nobody feels the way I did." He nodded slowly. "Then you're doing more than most adults in this building." One afternoon, Ayanna found a note in her locker, folded neatly, written in pencil. "Thank you for not letting them win." No signature, just truth. And from that moment on, Brookfield High was never the same. It started with one question: "Can I bring my cousin next time?" Ayanna looked up from taping a flyer to the bulletin board. It was Javier. He shifted nervously, hands in his hoodie pocket. "He's got it worse than I did," he added. Ayanna smiled. "Of course, everyone's welcome." That Friday, Javier's cousin showed up, then another student, then 2 more. Soon, Quiet Force wasn't just a club. It was a movement, a ripple turning tidal, and the waves reached further than Ayanna expected. At the grocery store, a mother stopped her. "You're the girl from the self-defense club, right?" Ayanna nodded. "My daughter walks taller now." She told off a boy who'd been harassing her for weeks. She paused. "Thank you." Ayanna didn't know what to say, so she just smiled and kept walking. At school, even the teachers noticed. Students who once sat in the back, eyes down, now raised their hands, started asking questions, started helping each other. The culture of fear didn't just disappear, but it had competition, courage, kindness, community. One afternoon, Principal DuPont called Ayanna to his office. His walls were lined with framed photos of past classes. He gestured for her to sit. "Miss Brooks," he began, "what you've done here, it's remarkable." Ayanna sat stiff, not sure if this was praise or a warning. He reached into a drawer, pulled out a certificate. "This is for you. Outstanding Leadership Initiative." He slid it. "Cross the desk. You've changed this school more in 1 semester than most faculty in a decade." Ayanna blinked. "I wasn't trying to. I just didn't want to be afraid anymore." "And that," DuPont said, "is why it worked." Word spread beyond Brookfield. A local journalist covered the story. From silence to strength. One girl's quiet revolution. The article went viral. Parents shared it. Coaches printed it. Other schools reached out. Could she speak to their students, lead a workshop? Ayanna was overwhelmed, but Miss Pearl was steady. "Baby, when God gives you a voice, you use it. Even if you've got a whisper." The first speech was terrifying. Ayanna stood in front of a gymnasium full of strangers. Her voice trembled. Her hands shook. But then she saw them, the quiet ones in the back, the kids hiding behind hair and hoodies. And she remembered. She spoke about fear, about strength, about finding power in stillness. And when she finished, they stood, clapped, cried. Afterward, a boy came up. He didn't speak, just handed her a bracelet made of string. "For luck," he whispered. She wore it every day after that. Quiet Force expanded. Other schools started chapters. Ayanna began training others to lead. She was no longer the center, just the spark. And she liked it that way. One afternoon, Erica approached her by the lockers. Her voice was hesitant. "You got a minute?" Ayanna nodded. Erica looked down. "Back then, when I laughed at you, it wasn't about you. It was about me." She bit her lip. "I was scared too. But it's easier to laugh than to admit that." Ayanna said nothing, just nodded, then offered her a flyer. "Quiet Force meets Tuesdays. And Thursdays. Join us." Erica took it, her eyes shining. And in that moment, Ayanna knew. She hadn't just fought back. She'd opened a door, and now others were walking through. So maybe the story didn't end with a standing ovation. No medals, no viral dance, just a girl, a movement, and a new way forward. Ayanna Brooks didn't come to be a hero. She came to survive, but in choosing not to stay small, she gave others permission to grow. And that That changes everything. So the next time you see someone sitting alone, look twice. They might be the storm you never saw coming. And if you've ever been the one sitting quietly, know this: you are not alone. You are powerful. You are needed, and your voice, no matter how soft, can spark a revolution. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Share this story, pass the light, and never underestimate the quiet ones. They're often the ones who roar the loudest when it counts. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay kind, and remember, the storm is already in you.